We have our show called Songs from the Ledge. Please introduce Peter Kendall Clark.
McGowan, Ron McGowan, who is a legend here in St. Louis. We've just been working together for the past week or so, and it turns out we have some friends in common, and we have something important in common. We are both music educators, which during the pandemic I discovered that is an essential worker, right? Other things were not essential, but education was truly essential. And that is an aria that I have enjoyed my whole life. It's from Bizet's Carmen. Carmen, if you don't know, is an opera about a somewhat promiscuous, itinerant Romani mezzo-soprano who has a penchant for cigarettes, cards, and chest voice. And it's actually the very first opera I ever saw in my life at New York City Opera. Little did I know that that would become my hometown opera company. And little did I know that Union Avenue in St. Louis would become my second hometown opera company. And I'm thrilled to be here, thank you. We opened Don Pasquale this past weekend, and we have 2 more performances. Not that I read reviews, but I hear they're very good. I don't read them, I only copy and paste them into my Instagram if they seem positive. So yes, I fell in love with theater when I was young. I always identified usually as the leading lady of the opera or operetta that I saw, and even then, I knew I wasn't a mezzo-soprano. I was a lyric soprano with an extension. You know, my voice moved. But then when I went through puberty, I discovered I wasn't really a soprano, and for quite a while I thought I was a tenor. Until I discovered the reason I didn't have any high notes was because I wasn't a tenor. I'm a baritone. That's a tenor with no high notes. And in my life, in the theater as a baritone, I've got to play a lot of different roles, and you know, I really enjoy the range that I get to do. And during the pandemic, as was the case with all my performing friends, we lost all our contracts, and we had to find something else to do. And so I was teaching on Zoom. It turned out I was very good at doing that. It's like a 45-minute selfie. You just look at yourself and enjoy it. But I was sort of nagged by my neighbor to join for the 7 o'clock applause that we were doing in New York for the essential workers, for the healthcare workers. And I was like, 7 o'clock, it's Jeopardy. I mean, I was firmly ensconced in my home with a pizza. Alex Trebek wasn't doing well. I was like, I'm not gonna miss Jeopardy. But the very first time I did it, it just had such an immediate, wonderful effect on the neighborhood. I mean, windows were open, people were cheering. My neighbor's dog, I looked out at him, and he was actually giving me a little doggy boner. I was like, that's quite a recommendation. Are you allowed to say doggy boner at the Blue Strawberry? Sorry. Anyway, I decided to just keep doing it, and I did it for 100 nights in a row. And I'm actually still doing these concerts, which we called Songs from the Ledge, because I would stand on a wall in front of my building in Brooklyn Heights. And I was joined by friends from Broadway and opera, and it just ended up being, it was a way to kind of cope and get through the pandemic, and a way to kind of bring joy to my neighbors, and to kind of find a new way of performing, since theaters were closed. So I kept it up, and after about a year, I started to get a lot more attention, like global media attention, like much more attention than I had ever gotten for 40 years of professional theater. And I thought, great, like singing karaoke show tunes on a stoop in front of my building is, you know, the thing I'm going to be known for. And Susie Weiss in the New York Post named me the Brownstone Baritone, and that very week, Deborah Norville did a piece on me in Inside Edition, and she said, call him the Brownstone Baritone. Peter Kendall Clark gets on the stoop and the magic begins. He's the hottest ticket in town. He's the only ticket in town. So that was how my kind of low-key stoop fame was born. And I am still doing my concerts in indoor venues and, you know, exclusive senior living facilities and libraries and such. But this is the first time I'm doing it in a legit cabaret venue. And guess what? I wrote a little song about it. You want to hear it? Yeah. I'm just a brownstone berry, walking off my tired feet, pounding Hicks and Henry Street to put on a show. Brownstone berry, making news on New York One, hoping that the folks have fun when I do my show. Gee, I like to be on some marquee, all twinkling lights. Clark ignites a spark. at the watermark, the Brooklyn Heights. Someday maybe Jesse Green will give a nod. Hell, I'd play the promenade to be in a show. Hey, Mr. Producer, I'm talking to you, sir. I don't need a lot, only what I got, plus a Bluetooth speaker and a crowd that's hot. Brownstone Berry, teaching at a private school. Kids of Glitterati who'll put me in this show. You think, Lena? Brownstone Berry, using karaoke tracks, stating on my income tax that I made no dough. Then, in the pandemic, I got a mention in the Post. I mean, the quarantine was just a scene to make me the toast. Deborah Norville said I'm magic on the stoop. Susie Weiss gave you the scoop. Now this big canary's gonna rock the blue strawberry on the brown stone baritone. Thank you so much. Well, it feels like a real cabaret show. I got a stool, 2 mics. So during the pandemic, we experienced a lot of loss together, and it was a way of kind of responding with song every day, the stuff that was going on. And it was really interesting education for me, because usually you would say, well, the reason I'm doing this gig is because I want to have a career, or because it might lead to something else. But during the pandemic, it's just singing a song was just because you felt like it, or you wanted to touch people with the message of the lyrics, and the lyrics themselves became much more poignant than they had ever seemed before. And I lost my mom about 10 months ago, and very often in the pandemic we'd be singing about loss and grief. And about a month ago, I was doing the show in New York, and the great Sheldon Harnick had passed away at 99. And I was very touched by that, because Fiddler on the Roof was the first show that I ever did. He's the lyricist of Fiorello, She Loves Me, a wonderful version of Carmen and Merry Widow, both of which I've done. And I thought, let's honor Sheldon. And I decided to bring my violin into the show. Did you notice I have a violin? Did you know? I brought it. I don't know if you noticed. So I decided to put together a little tribute to Sheldon from Fiddler on the Roof, and that's what we're going to do now. met many, many poor people. Now, it's no great shame being poor, as anyone with a graduate degree in music will be quick to tell you. Aber ein großer Hoffnung ist es euch nicht. Not that I'm complaining, but what would it mean so terrible if I had a small fortune? If I were a rich man? All day long I'd biddy bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. If I were a bitty rich diddle man, I'd build a big tall house with rooms by the dozen right in the middle of the town. A fine tin roof with real wooden floors below. There would be one long staircase just going up, and one even longer coming down, and one more leading nowhere just for show. I'd fill my yard with chicks and turkeys and geese and ducks for the town to see and hear, squawking just as noisily as they can. And with each will land like a trumpet on the ear, as if to say, here lives a wealthy man. Wenn ich bin a Rothschild, ganze Tag beließ ich wie Bumm, wenn ich bin ein reicher Mann. Hand in kaltem Wasser, nicht verrenket an ein Bumm. Hat gewollt ein Beidel Geld und gewinn ein eitel Mann. I'd see my wife, my golden, looking like a rich man's wife, mit der Gold, mit der Bäuch. Supervising meals to her heart's delight. I'd see her putting on airs and strutting like a peacock. Oh, what a happy mood she's in. Screaming at the servants day and night. The most important man in town will come to phone on me. They will ask me to advise them, like a Solomon the Wise. Kratz die Barte, Rebdevia. Sag ein Wort, Rebdevia. Oh, the problems that would cross a rabbi's eyes. If I answer right or wrong. When you're rich, they think you really know. If I were rich, I'd have the time that I lack to sit in the synagogue and pray, and maybe have a seat by the eastern wall. And I discuss the holy books with the learned men 7 hours every day. This would be the sweetest thing of all. Oh, then a roach. Ganze Tag beließ ich wie Bumm, wenn ich bin ein reicher Mann. An den kalten Wasser, nicht allein wie a Bumm. God who made the lion and the lamb, you decreed I should be what I am. Would it spoil some vast eternal plan? If I were a wealthy Thank you so much. Yes, as is the case with quite a few singers I know, I got my start in this business working on my knees. I was a bottle dancer in Fiddler on the Roof, okay? Excuse me, this is the Blue Strawberry. Yeah, I got to, anyway, I was a bottle dancer for 50 performances, never dropped the bottle, and I was so happy I was working at this really janky dinner theater called the Theater Place. No, we was affectionately known as The Dump. And I was so happy because I was working in theater. It was not union, let's just say that. But we were paid $50 a week, and which we could redeem in bar food. And I was just thinking about it this evening. It's like if allowing for inflation, that's kind of comparable to what we make at the New York City Opera these days. True. Anyway, so yeah, that's how we got the start. And I grew up in Westchester and loved going to see Broadway musicals and was lucky enough to get to see a lot of original productions of great shows. And in my teenage years, my mom and her friend Catherine were trying to set me up with her daughter Lucinda. And so they would give us their credit cards and we'd get in the Metro North and go to the half price and buy tickets to, Dream Girls or something. And then we'd go to Sardi's and we'd get tanked on, gin and tonics and then go see the musical. And I look back and I think, I love that they were like, yeah, that'll straighten them out. Send them to Dream Girls. Curtis was supposed to love me! But one of my happiest memories, we decided to go see on a whim the musical 9. Maury Eston's 9, based on Fellini's 8.5. And it's an incredible show with starred Raul Julia and the most talented cast of women I've ever seen. Lillian Montevecchi, Karen Akers, and it was just, and Anita Morris. Anita Morris doing the call from the Vatican. Anita Morris, just parenthetically, was my friend's landlady, which is so random, right? Anyway, I've always loved the show, and this song I'm going to do next, Only With You, comes from it, and it's how this main character, Guido Contini, is dealing with his polyamorous inclinations. Being just me is so easy to be when I'm only with you. Open inside and with nothing to hide from your view. Seems long ago I was destined to know, and the moment I saw you I knew I could be totally happy with no one but you. Passionate night after passionate night, I give over to you. Utterly changed, I'm in each prearranged rendezvous. Lured by the fire of your endless desire, I still wonder the way that it grew. Never elusive, it comes from exclusively you. Finding a special person we can love is so rare. How in the world can there be two? Send me love that will mend me with love. I am desperate for you. Giving you chase like some goddess of grace I pursue. Blinded by need, I will follow your lead. Monkey see, monkey say, monkey do. Taken for granted, completely enchanted by you. Small made of dreams and of wishes that never come true. I wouldn't be lonely if I could be only with you and you and you. Thank you so much. I am absolutely overwhelmed by the surprise appearance of some of my favorite people from my whole life, and also want to acknowledge that I have quite a few friends back in New York and all over the country live streaming. I'm supposed to do special signals. I could just say your names, but it's so wonderful to be performing for this live audience. And I'm going to switch it up now. I want to talk about my dad a little bit. My dad is the person who really got me into music. He was a lawyer, but he was also a wonderful pianist and golfer, and he got me started playing the violin, and he was definitely my first musical partner. And he would come home from the city with stacks of music from, Schirmer, and he was like, just play this little bit of this. I'm like, Dad, it's the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto, and I'm 9. He's like, just play this little bit of it. So we developed quite a repertoire over the years, and then the first time I went to sleepaway camp, he sent me this piece by Fritz Kreisler called Liebesleid, and he dictated this letter to his secretary, which came typed up, and it was something like, Dear Peter, this is a song called Liebesleid, which means love's sorrow. And think, one day when someone you love is gone, you will miss them. And he says, when you come home, we'll play it together. And then we'll learn Liebesfreude, which means love's joy. But that has double stops and is much more difficult. Love, Father. Thank you. I was going to say, my dad was definitely my first musical partner, and I was definitely his last. And in his, he died of lung cancer. In the last months of his life, I would see him every week, and we'd play through our group of songs, and this was one of our go-tos all the time. And it was just, I can't thank my parents enough for bringing me to music and encouraging me to go into theater. And so now that they're gone, it's like every time I perform, I know it's always for them. And the first time my parents saw me do a big role, a leading role, not just character, was in 10th grade when we did Damn Yankees. We actually have an original high school cast member with us here, my friend Kiki. Funny, Kiki was a track star, had a bad knee injury, and was wearing like this big device, which we called her FDR brace, right? She went on stage. I'm having some knee issues myself right now, so I wear these braces on stage, and I think of you wearing the crutches and the FDRs. I use a cane. Using a cane in Don Pasquale. Anyway, so we did Damn Yankees, which is based on a book called The Year the Yankees Lost the Pennant. And are you familiar with Damn Yankees? Do you need me to review the story? Okay, the setup is there's this retired Washington Senators fan named Joe Boyd, and he's going nuts over it because the Senators are the worst team, and he's like, one long ball hitter! I'd sell my soul for one long ball hitter! And enters Mr. Applegate the Devil, and they make a Faustian bargain, and so he's going to trade his soul to be changed into this young athlete, Joe Hardy. So there's a flash pod, and Steve Cash, with a pillow in his belly, is transformed into me, this pretty gay kid with a center part wearing his dad's Lacoste shirt. And but it was the first time my parents had ever heard me sing with my big voice, my baritone voice on stage. And my father would always talk about it. He was like, Lou, I'm losing it. And I teach kids, and it's my favorite thing to watch the parents absolutely lose it. They can't believe it's so exciting to see your children shining on stage. So he would always say to me, sing the note, that one note, my whole, for the rest of his life. So I'm honoring my dad by recreating the scene for you from Damn Yankees, shall we?
Yes.
Steve Cash.
Class of 80.
Goodbye, old girl. My old girl. When you awaken, I'll be gone. Can't tell you where I go. It isn't fair, I know. But trust in me and carry on. Goodbye, old friend. My old friend. There's something I should let you know. I haven't said it much. I guess I've lost my touch. But my old girl, I love you so. Now I know it hasn't all been rosy. We've had squabbling days when tears were brought about, but in a moment or two we would bill and coo, and never even knew what we fought about. But now your Joe has to go, but he'll come back to you again. So sleep your sleep, old girl, our love will keep, old girl, till then. And all your Joe has to go. He may come back to you again. So sleep or sleep, old girl, our love will keep, old girl, till then. Goodbye, old girl. Thank you. Sing the note. I think it's an F in the show. That was only an E flat, but brownstone baritone. What can I tell you? Alrighty. Ron, how you doing? What's next? Oh, yes. Okay. So, I got to do a lot of leading male roles in the opera and in the musical theater. But the truth of it is, I think I mentioned, I was really just as much influenced by the great leading ladies of Broadway as the great leading men. And, I sort of always saw myself, whatever, as, Alexis Smith in Follies or something, I gravitated towards those parts. And I wanted to honor that by singing this little mashup that Barbara Cook sang in her Carnegie concert. And it's two songs I absolutely love. The first is by Rodgers and Hart. It's called He Was Too Good to Me. It's from a show written in 1930 called Simple Simon. It was actually cut from the show. And 1930 is the year of my parents' birth, and it's also the year of Stephen Sondheim's birth. And I'm going to do some Sondheim later. And then I'm going to go into Time Heals Everything from Jerry Herman's Mac and Mabel. And Time Heals Everything was that meant a lot to us during the pandemic. It's just words that really spoke to us. Anyway, I thought I'd put these two songs together for you, shall we? There goes my young intended. The thing is ended. Regrets are vain. I'll never find another half as sweet, and we'll never meet again. I was a good sport, told him goodbye, eyes dim, but why complain? He was too good to me. How can I get along now? So close he stood to me. Everything seems all wrong now. He would have brought me the sun, making me smile. That was his fun. When I was mean to him, he'd never say, go away now. I was a queen to him. Who's gonna make me gay now? It's only natural I'm blue. He was too good to be true. Time heals everything, Tuesday, Thursday. Time heals everything, April, August. If I'm patient, the break will mend, and one fine morning the hurt will end. So make the moments fly, autumn, winter. I'll forget you by next year, some year. Though it's hell that I'm going through, some Tuesday, Thursday, April, August, autumn, winter, next year, some year. Time heals everything. Time heals everything but loving you. It's hell that I'm going through. Some Tuesday, Thursday, April, August, autumn, winter, next year, some year. Time heals everything. Time heals everything. But loving you. Thank you so very much. All right, I'm gonna switch it up and do some Sondheim songs. And you know, I grew up going to Broadway musicals when some of these original productions were playing, and I got to see some of them, and certainly was buying the vinyl of all of them, going down to Corvettes. Couldn't decide to buy like the original cast recording of Little Night Music or the film with Liz Taylor. Who knew? Who even knew that she'd done that? But now we know. Anyway. And I was always playing Sondheim in the car. My mom was driving my brother and sister and I driving us to our music lessons constantly, all over Westchester. She'd drive me in and out of the city for violin and voice lessons and acting lessons. And she drove a VW bus, it's blue and white VW bus. And you know, my mom never slept through the night. She was a bit of a napper. She would just catch a nap here and there. But we'll never forget, she'd be driving us home from White Plains, and she'd stop at the light, and she'd close her eyes, and she'd just say, "Wake me when it's green." I mean, these are words to live by. I mean, I know the feeling now. Just sometimes, you know, between two entrances in Don Pasquale, I'm like, just wake me when it's green. Tell me it's time to go back out. So yeah, I think my mother probably could have gone on in any of the roles in Company. Like she heard it so many times. And then the very first Sondheim show I was cast in was probably one of the very first, you know, amateur productions of Follies. and I was cast as young Vincent, the dancer. And I don't remember if I was fired or they just cut the scene, but I wasn't in it. I gotta go back. I'm not sure what happened. I probably didn't have a contract. Lost out on some free burgers and fries for that one, for sure. Anyway, I love Follies. I've never done the show. I've done the Sondheim show, putting it together, and I got to sing a lot of the songs from Follies. But anyway, I wanted to put together two of my favorite songs, Marry Me a Little and Could I Leave You? And my mom, so my dad passed away in 1999. My mom remarried 4 years ago, a high school friend who is watching, Peter Smith. He's my godfather also. Yes, and he's celebrating his birthday next week. And he lived in the West Coast and she lived in New York, and they had been traveling together. And then they decided, I got this text from my mother that she sent to my brother and sister and I. She said, this may be surprising or confusing, but Peter and I have decided to marry. Details to follow. Love, Anne. To which I said, Mazel Tov, and my sister said, for medical reasons? So romantic. I was like, if I ever get married, I hope that the invitation says, for medical reasons. Anyway. So I thought they were going to long distance it, but he decided he wanted to move in, so she actually came to hear me in Glory Denied at Union Avenue Opera, then got on a plane and went to Seattle, and they got in his red Oldsmobile convertible and drove across the country, which to me was terrifying. Everyone over the age of 80 said, I think it's terrific. It's like, it's like a nail biter, but they had this incredible trip, and they had a couple wonderful years together, including the pandemic, in which I got to spend a lot of time together. So that's my pandemic silver lining. Anyway, I think my mom thought she was gonna she said, marry me a little. She didn't know I was gonna move in. Anyway, shall we do it? Let's do it. Marry me a little, love me just enough. Cry but not too often, play but not too rough. Keep a tender distance so we'll both be free. That's the way it ought to be. I'm ready, marry me a little, do it with a will. Make a few demands I'm able to fulfill. Want me more than others, not exclusively. That's the way it ought to be. I'm ready now. You can be my best friend. I can be your right arm. We'll go through a fight or two. No harm, no harm. We'll look not too deep. We'll go not too far. We won't have to give up a thing. We'll stay who we are, right? Okay then, I'm ready now. Someone marry me a little, love me just enough. Warm and sweet and easy, just the simple stuff. Keep a tender distance, so we'll both be free. That's the way it ought to be. I'm ready, marry me a little, body, heart, and soul. Passionate as hell, but always in control. Want me first and foremost, keep me company. That's the way it ought to be. I'm ready now. Oh, how gently we'll talk. Oh, how softly we'll tread. All the stings, the ugly things we'll keep unsaid. We'll build a cocoon, a of love and respect. You promise whatever you like, I'll never collect. Right. Okay then. I'm ready now. Someone, I'm ready. Leave you, how could I leave you? How could I go it alone? Could I wave the years away with a quick goodbye? How do you wipe tears away when your eyes are dry? Sweetheart, lover, could I recover? Give up the joys I have known? Not to fetch your pills again every day at 5. Not to give those dinners for 10 elderly men from the UN. How could I survive? Could I leave you and your shelves of the world's best books, and the evenings of martyred looks, cryptic sighs, sullen looks from those injured eyes? Leave those quips with a sting, jokes with a sneer, passionless lovemaking once a year, and the lies ill-concealed, and the wounds never healed, and the game's not worth winning. And wait, I'm just beginning. What? Leave you, how could I leave you? What would I do on my own? Putting thoughts of you aside in the south of France. Would I think of suicide? Darling, shall we dance? Would I live through my pain on the terrace in Spain? Would it pass? It would pass. Could I bury my rage with a boy half your age in the grass? Bet your ass. But I've done that already. Or didn't you know, love? Tell me, how could I leave when I left long ago? Love, could I leave you? No, the point is, could you leave me? Well, I guess you could leave me the house, leave me the flat, leave me the Brocs and Chagalls and all that, leave me the stocks for sentiment's sake, and 90% of the money you make, and the rugs, and the cooks. Darling, you keep the drugs, angel, you keep the books. Honey, I'll keep the bread, honey, you keep the spinach, and all of our friends, and just wait a goddamn minute. What? Leave you? How could I leave you? Sweetheart, I have to confess. Could I leave you? Yes. Will I leave you? Will I leave you? Yes. Thank you. You know, imagine my poor mom in and out of the city, me singing, you know, the whole score of Follies. So, when Sondheim passed away, I was really quite overwhelmed with how many people I knew were, you know, posting their remembrances of him, and I knew that he meant a lot to a lot of people. And I, having grown up with his music, it struck me that even if you didn't know him, if you'd immersed yourself in his works and been lucky enough to be in some of his theater pieces, you felt like you had a personal relationship with him. And I saw the original Sweeney Todd on Broadway, I think in 9th grade, and I was obsessed with the song Not While I'm Around. It was my favorite song to sing. And I was lucky enough to play the Demon Barber a couple times in my professional regional opera career, and I just absolutely love the show. And then I think I was in 11th grade, and I took a day off from high school to go into the city to attend an open call for a musical called Merrily We Roll Along, which they were, at the time, the original idea was to cast it with a very young cast, with teenagers. And I'm the same age as Daisy Prince, who's Hal Prince's daughter. And I think she was actually the youngest person cast in the show. So I wasn't in the show. But I went to see it in previews, and I don't know if you know the musical. It's a real connoisseur's piece. It goes backwards in time. So these people at the start of the show are middle-aged, and they've grown embittered, and they've drifted from their dreams. And by the end of the show, you see where they were with their youthful ideals. It's coming back to Broadway in the fall, and I absolutely just love the show. And I'm going to do. Good thing going from that show. But I had this incredible experience, which was just about 5 years ago. New York City Opera mounted a production of Candide, and Harold Prince came and recreated he did a new production for them, and I was just, we were dying to be in it. We just thought, oh my God, if we're not in this, it's going to kill us. But anyway, I was in the ensemble, got to do some scenes with Chip Zion, and it was so interesting. I was like, he's the original baker in Into the Woods. I was like, this guy's more nervous than I am. But and Sondheim came to the show. I mean, I did see him backstage. I never got to meet him. But I said to Hal Prince, I said, I auditioned for Merrily 30 years ago, and I've actually been living my life forward, and I'm just so thrilled at this moment in my life to finally get to work with you. And I'm probably we were one of the last casts I got to work with him, and he was just like your dad. He'd be standing off stage, and when you come off, he'd go, "You did it! That was it! That was it!" So anyway, he's the legend of my generation. So anyway, with great affection, I'll sing these two songs for you. Nothing's gonna harm you, not while I'm around. Nothing's gonna harm you, no sir, not while I'm around. Demons are prowling everywhere nowadays. I'll send them crawling, I don't care, I've got ways. No one's gonna hurt you, no one's gonna dare. Others may desert you, not to worry, whistle, I'll be there. Demons will charm you with a smile for a while, but in time, nothing's gonna harm you, not while I'm around. Not to worry, I may not be smart, but I ain't dumb. Let me do it, put me to it, show me something I can overcome. Not to worry, Mom. Being smart and being clever ain't like being true. I don't need to, I would never hide a thing from you. Like sun. No one's gonna hurt you, no one's gonna tear. Others may desert you, not to worry, whistle, I'll be there. Demons will charm you with a smile for a while, but in time, nothing's gonna harm you. Not while I'm around. out like a song. It started quiet and slow with no surprise. And then one morning I woke to realize we had a good thing going. It's not that nothing went wrong. Some angry moments, of course, but just a few. And only moments, no more, because we knew we had this good thing going. And if I wanted too much, was that such a mistake at the time? You never wanted enough, alright, tough, I don't make that a crime. And while it's going along, you take for granted some love will wear away. We took for granted a lot, but still I say it could have kept on growing instead of just kept on. We had a good thing going, gone.
Thank you so much.
Well, we're into the home stretch. I'm going to sing a final set for you. There are three songs that have just come to mean so much to me over the past couple of years. The lyrics just really resonate with me. The first one is a song by Jason Robert Brown called Hope. And I first heard it sung by the great Betty Buckley. I had a wonderful experience of doing an intensive acting training with her, and I went to see her at Joe's Pub, and she sang the song, and I just, I immediately wanted to do it. I've sung it many, many times. The second one is by Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty from a musical called A Man of No Importance. It's called Love Who You Love. And the last one has become kind of my signature song, especially during Pride Month. It's I Am What I Am from Jerry Herman's The Casual Fall, where I usually sing it with the City Opera. Somewhere on some stage I'm singing I Am What I Am. Before I do it though, I want to thank you all so much for being here. I want to give special thanks to Jim, Phil on Sound and Lights is making me look amazing, Katie who's hosting us this evening, our bartender Nick, and please thank your servers generously. I know they're understaffed and I've been doing an amazing job, and it's been such a pleasure to be here with you this evening, and it means the world to me. Sing a song about hope. I'm not inspired much right now, but even so, I came out here to sing a song, so here I go. I guess I think that if I tinker long enough, one might appear. And look, it's here. One verse is done. The work's begun. I come to sing a song about hope. In spite of everything ridiculous and sad, Though I'm beyond belief depressed, confused, and mad, well, I got dressed. I underestimated how much that would take. I didn't break until right now. I sing of hope and don't know how. So maybe I can substitute strength, because I'm strong enough. I got through lots of things I didn't think I could, and so did you. I know that's true. And so we sing a song about hope, though I can't guarantee there's something real behind it. We have to try to show our daughters we can find it. And so today, when life is crazy and impossible to bear, it must be there. Fear never wins. That's what I hope. See, I said hope. The work begins. Substitute strength, because I'm strong enough. I got through lots of things I didn't think I could, and so did you. I know that's true. And so we sing a song about hope, though I can't guarantee there's something real behind it. We have to try to show our daughters we can find it. And so today, when life is crazy and impossible to bear, it must be there. Fear never wins. That's what I hope. See, I said hope. The work begin. I'm not one to lecture. How could I dare? Someone like me who's been mainly nowhere. But in my experience, be as it may, you just have to love who you love. You just have to love who you love. Your common sense tells you best not begin, but your full heart cannot help plunging in, and nothing and no one can stand in your way. You just have to love who you love. You just have to love who you love. People can be hard sometimes, and their words can cut so deep. Choose the one you choose, love, and don't lose a moment's sleep. Who can tell you who to want? Who can tell you what you were destined to be? Take There's no fault in loving, no call for shame. Everyone's heart does exactly the same. And once you believe that, you'll learn how to say, I love who I love, who I love. Then just go and love who you what I am. I am my own special creation. So, come take a look. Give me the look or the ovation. It's my world that I want to have a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey world, I am what I am. I am what I am. I don't want praise, I don't want pity. I bang my own drum. Some think it's noise, I think it's pretty. And so what if I love each feather and each spangle? Why not try to see things from a different angle? Your life is a sham till you can shout out loud, I am what I am. I am what I am, and what I am needs no excuses. I deal my own deck. Sometimes the ace, sometimes the deuces. There's one life and there's no return and no deposit. One life, so it's time to open up your closet. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey world, I am what I am. Thank you so much. When I do my concerts in New York, I do like 5 more songs, which I call the encores no one asked for. I'm gonna do one encore that I think you asked for. Did you ask for it? They like us. They really like us. Thank you so much. Can we have huge applause for this man? Just incredible. And I just wanted to remind you all, the reason I started doing this was because we were thanking our healthcare workers and essential workers at 7 o'clock in New York. And I would just love it if we could just give one extra applause for them, because they're still putting their lives on the line every day. All right, I have a special little encore for you we put together. My father's father. My grandfather was a lawyer, but he was also an amazing pianist, and my grandmother was a singer. And I grew up with the stacks of original sheet music from the 20s and 30s on the piano, and she sang on the radio, and we absolutely loved all the Fred and Ginger movies, and we would pile on the bed to watch Fred and Ginger movies all week. And this is actually the last song that George Gershwin ever wrote. It's called "Our Love Is Here to Stay," and it just means so much to me. And I have one special friend here. It's my friend Kate, who really is my St. Louis girlfriend, and she has supported me through 3 productions here and helped so much with the publicity for this. And I'm especially dedicating this song for Kate. Thank you so much, Kate. Love you so much. The more I read the papers, the less I comprehend the world and all its capers, and how it soon will end. Nothing seems to be lasting, but that isn't our affair. We've got something permanent, I mean, in the way we care. It's very clear our love is here to stay, not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies, and in time may go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of clay, but our love is here to stay. Love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of clay, but our love is here. Our love is here to stay.